I'm just going to come out and say it. If we'd have had Masuaku available for that game, we'd have won. I do. I think so. Well, not just available for the game. Having Masuaku available for the game and leaving him out of the squad wouldn't have done anything, just so we're clear. Having Masuaku available for the game and playing him, I think we'd have won the game. Or at least drawn it. Certainly. Oh, I thought we had him on the ropes a little bit. I can't believe I'm going to say this now, this next sentence, but I felt Man City were there for the taking. By us, not by anyone. I don't think anybody could have taken Man City on that day. But we seemed close. They couldn't have had any complaints, could they? If Diop had scored at the end, bosh, they couldn't have had any complaints, surely. It's not like they could say that was a travesty, we were a much better team. I don't think they were. The Duke said to me in the player ratings video afterwards, he said that we had 36% possession, something like that, that the shooting stats were relatively similar, so on and so forth. Only a couple of defensive errors had been the difference between the teams. Fair enough. Decent appraisal. I was expecting much less possession than that. I felt that we attacked more than I thought, but we carried the ball forward really well. That's why I think Masuaku could have come into it. Actually, I've got to go through this whole video and not mention a particular player, by the way. I've been a very naughty boy, and I've mentioned a certain player too many times. As somebody said, it's been one nosh too many. I've gone too far with mentioning, lauding this particular player. So this is that player free zone. We're not even going to mention him. He will not feature today at all. But I do feel he carried the ball forward very well and was an integral part of the attack. Sort of giving away roughly where he plays. Hopefully by the end of it, you'll have worked out who it is, if you haven't already. Antonio played really well as well, didn't he? But anyway, let's get back to the Masuaku thing, really. This is not meant to be a slight on Ben Johnson, by the way. No, far from it. I think Ben Johnson's been a little bit unlucky, really. But how many games he played for West Ham? He's in double figures or something like that. 3 of them have been against Man City playing out of position. What a baptism of fire. He's probably thinking to himself, why can't I play against Accrington Stanley, Grimsby and the Dog and Duck? Why have I always got to play against the best team in Europe? You know, no problem. Got Mo Salah coming up for Liverpool. Don't you worry. We'll chuck Ben Johnson in there. Not a problem. Hey, Ben Johnson, someone's caused a bit of trouble outside. Anthony Joshua's outside. Go and sort it out, will you, mate? Poor old Ben Johnson gets chucked in at the deep end. I think he'll have a very, very good career for West Ham. I really do. I think he may be the new Steve Potts in many respects. He's been with us since he was 7 years of age, and I do think he's going to be a really, really decent player. But at the moment, we could have done with something else. We could have done with somebody to carry that ball forward. And Masuaku's just a man. I taught him everything he knows, don't you know? I literally taught Arthur Masuaku to head the ball. Watch.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Oh. Okay. Now, was it just me? I feel he let me down. I feel his final header, actually the penultimate header from Masuaku, threw me out of line. It threw me out of kilter. I wasn't quite able to. I blame Masuaku for that. But despite the fact that he is not as good at heading the ball as me, I think he can kick the ball very well. And I think they had a little bit of a soft underbelly, actually. And I do wonder, had he been able to carry that ball forward, we would have transitioned into... I keep saying transitioned. I don't know why. Anyway, we would have progressed into their half on more occasions and carried the ball forward, which sort of gets them turning their backs. And we do have one player in our team who, whenever he gets the ball, we'd have more than one. In fact, Declan Rice does it. We have one a little bit further forward, who I can't mention, who, when he gets the ball, always drives into the space and drives at the team. And it changes the whole dynamic and it changes the whole impetus of the game. I loved what I saw from Mikel Antonio. And do you know why? Because he looked fit. Fit. I mean, properly fit. It's 9 games. 9 days until the next game. So it means it's starting to look a little bit wise, isn't it? that David Moyes, if he can keep him fit and he plays every game, then David Moyes' decision to leave his striker budget until the summer and just sign somebody else in the January transfer window would look to be a stroke of genius, a good bit of foresight. So as long as nothing happens in training, like nobody steps on his arm or anything, we should have Antonio ready for the next game. And he's not going to get any less fit, is he? Touch wood. Hope so. Wood. There you go. Talking about the accidents in training. So Fabianski didn't feature because someone trod in his arm. Had to have been Randolph. So here's the thing. Fabianski is in training. Randolph looks at him and thinks, I want your starting place. Treads on his arm. At the point where Randolph treads on Fabianski's arm, Randolph injures his leg. Still gets put in the team but can't kick the ball. Should have just started with David Martin. I think David Moyes, what his comments before the game about Antonio were actually quite telling. I say quite telling. I need to read them to remember what they were. He said, David Moyes said, we're working on Antonio. We're working on his hold-up play. We think sometimes when he's got his back to goal, he releases it a little bit too early. Other times he doesn't hold it up quite as much. But we're really pleased with what he's done. We still find him a little bit raw. I found those comments really funny because I do remember those comments being used when we signed Antonio. I remember David Sullivan saying, we've signed this guy from Nottingham Forest. He's a little bit raw, but we think he can come good. So he's still raw. He hasn't been cooked yet, has he? But I understand what David Moyes is saying here. And I thought we saw some of that in the game. I thought actually his decision-making when he did have his back to goal, very much when he was trying to keep defenders behind him, like I'm keeping my chair behind me. The chair can go nowhere when I'm doing this, by the way. He was laying the ball off really well. And it's just interesting, having seen the comments, that I thought, well, hold on a second. This is looking a lot like what David Moyes was describing. He played ever so well. Really, really well. Let's have a little chat. I say a little chat. It's me talking to a camera, basically. But let's pretend we're having a little chat about Soufal. Because, you know, like sometimes you play three at the back and the wing-backs are very much wing-backs. You know, they're bombing up and down. They're doing stuff like that. You feel like the position of the wing-back is very different to a full-back. I don't think that's what happened with Soufal in this game. I think Soufal was still playing as a full-back. But we just had almost three centre-halves in there. We just had an additional defender. I think he was so good, by the way. At some point, look, I've already conceded it. I've already held my hands up and say, look, I might have got it wrong with him. I thought he was. I said my own comments. I thought he was a decent player. I was pleased to get him, but I didn't look at him and think, oh, there we go. We've signed a £20 million player there for $5 million. I just thought, oh, yeah. Decent. We've signed him. He looked a bargain, but not massively. I mean, he really does now. He's certainly proven himself to me. But I just wonder how long that everybody really notices. I'm talking about outside of West Ham here, really. How many more players, top quality players, he's got to come up against before people say, actually, this guy gets the better of almost everybody that he's up against. See, we are not an easy team to play. They'd have been absolutely delighted to see the back of us. I said in the review, I'd be more than happy never to see Man City again. I'll tell you what, I think they'll be happy to see the back of us. I bet they're thinking, crikey, glad we don't have to play them. And as I say, if the would have scored at the end, I don't think they'd have had too many complaints, really. I mean, I know a few people were saying, oh, Bonner would have scored that. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I do think that was fatigue. I think the players are so knackered. It does wear you down when they're playing that sort of metronomic style of play in front of you all the time. And you're having to close down and chase down. But we did press. We pressed really, really well. Well, someone, Gio, did a video the other day, which was about centre-half pairings and whether Souček and Declan Rice were the best centre-half pairing. Now, they both played really, really well in this game. But the more I look at it, I think, are they one of the few pairings, actually? Because everybody else seems to chop and change so much. I mean, the composition of the Man City midfield in this game, Gundogan, Fernandinho, and whoever whoever else it was in there. I've actually forgot. Kevin De Bruyne. I shouldn't forget, really, should I? He was one that hoofed it, lumped it long up for their goal. The irony of that goal, by the way, they scored a West Ham goal and then we went and scored a Man City goal. Anyway, but the composition of that midfield, that's probably changed on numerous occasions. Our midfield stays the same. Those are the guys that feature. And they play come wind, rain or shine. Those are our central defensive midfielders, central midfielders, whatever you want to call them. Can't call them central defensive midfielders, can we? The goals that Souček scores, and certainly the way that Rice drives and leads and dictates what goes on in that team. I often feel, I've said this a number of times, you've heard me say it before, I often feel that everyone else has got to come to the realisation of how good Rice is. And whenever I've got a friend, you'll be the same. You'll have friends that support different teams. And after this, your Man City mate might say to you, Declan Rice is good, isn't he? You say, yeah, we know. He didn't do anything exceptional that's un-Declan Rice-like in that game. That's just how Declan Rice plays. That's what he's like. And I do think he was sensational. And a special mention, by the way, for the fornicator, El Fornicador. This was special again. Justified his place. I do feel there's a certain amount of pressure on Fornals because I call it the Benrahma train, that momentum. It's like a tsunami of support behind Benrahma and his inclusion. And I do feel that El Fornicador gets maybe unfairly criticised for the pure and simple reason is what's he done wrong? Well, he's not Benrahma. And that's it. But I feel like he justified his place. Thought he showed good qualities up front. And I also felt, look, his work rate is never in question. Never in question. But I think sometimes his quality and him carrying the ball forward and doing the sort of stuff that some other players in our team who we can't mention can do is less so. Well, I thought technically he was very good on this occasion. Very, very good on this occasion. Also, let's be fair. I know Diop missed it at the end, but he did play well. He did play well. In fact, I'd say early on in the game, it was Diop and the Fornicator were the two players who were really clearing the ball and clearing it. Fornicator did an inception the first 30 seconds of the game. Just dispossessed Man City. And we came away with the ball. Thought, yeah, okay, well done, mate. Fair play to you there. Virgil van Dawson, let's just have a word about this geezer as well. He's not. I thought he was. I shouldn't say this. Should I say it? I am going to say it. I'm sorry. Don't blame me. I'm not overly superstitious. I'm worried that you're superstitious and you're going to think it's me, right? But I'm going to say it anyway. I thought he was injury prone. He don't seem to have got an injury. I shouldn't have said that, should I? I shouldn't have said that. And anyway, I've said it now. He was sensational. He was absolutely superb again. We didn't give him much. We didn't give him many sniffs. Many sniffs? Oh, that's all they do, Man City, walking around. They didn't want to attack, they were just walking around the 18-yard box. Oh, just sniffing. We didn't give them any sniffs of the goal. Anyway, the Randolph thing was unfortunate for reasons that I said earlier. What was going on? Why? I don't understand. Somebody said, might have even been Duke again. Somebody said he had, or maybe it was Gatesy, I don't know. He had 2 saves to make and he didn't make. He didn't make them. Which was in the player ratings video on Patreon. I don't know. It was a weird one. Look, there's something that needs to be done with the goalkeeper situation. He was kicking like that and he was limping the last time he played. It seems like he's been carrying this injury for months. I'm talking about Randolph here. If he has, quite why Trott or Martin weren't included. We seem to have goalkeepers. We put 10 goalkeepers on the bench for every game. Surely only 2 of them can't be usable. I don't know. It's but you know what? All in all, good. A good game. A really good game, actually. I thought we ran them close. That's not good enough for me, by the way, running them close. I want to beat them. And I don't think it'll be good enough for David Moyes. And I sincerely meant what I said in the review. Give us a chance of a couple of other players. And I tell you what, I think we really would. I felt we were tired after 58 minutes. Thought it was always going to be difficult. Yes, we could have won it at the end. But I do feel if Moyes had have had more substitutes, particularly a striker, and maybe one more set of legs to go in central midfield. Not that I think he would have taken Souček or Rice off, but just to give it that extra impetus and that extra goal-scoring threat, I think we would have actually almost hammered them. What's a hammer? What's a hammer? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a cross between a hammer and a camel. I mean, pummeled them. We would have absolutely hammered them. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, look, it's still yesterday as far as you're concerned. I'm going to go and watch the rugby. If Masuaku would have played, we would have won. Simples.